starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hello, everybody. We are live. Welcome to Go Indie Now. I'm your host, Joe Compton, and we have a very special presentation that we're going to be presenting you here for the next hour. I have some folks who are going to be participating in a panel discussion that will be happening on Saturday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, the Indie Entertainment Showcase. And we're going to talk to a few of those folks, including our first guest, who is Anna Fishbein. And this is the trailer to her latest film. And then we'll be right back to talk to her.
I do believe that, men should have some equality, but overall, women, they run the show.
I think if you suck it in a little bit, suck it in, and then say walrus.
Walrus.
Good.
Welcome to the 33rd Annual Victor's Angels Mr. World Beauty Pageant. We are going to be looking at men in their Speedos, in their evening wear.
The judges will be staring at your asses.
Oh, I think his butt cheeks are two unequal sizes.
And let us not forget their talents and answers to questions about world peace. Silence is what I'm looking for. District 19.
I am District 19.
Hi, I'm District 5.
District 11 is fat.
Oh, but in a sensual, fat kind of way.
Oh, those legs.
I'm gonna try to win this competition with my charm.
I want to win.
I want to win this competition for a show.
We are hunting for men. We are looking for one.
You can't see my nipples poking through my shirt, right?
Super turned on.
Own your body. It's not like the other men, but own it.
When we see a speedo, this is not.
There's a grief that can't be spoken. There's a pain goes on and on. Empty men with empty ball sacks.
Empty ball sacks.
Some of the talent here is just, it's remarkable, to say the least.
In a world where talent really doesn't matter, and it's all about your looks, every sorry counts.
Say it like you mean it.
Sorry.
You can look and
You can touch.
And there she is, everybody. Hi, Anna. Thank you for joining me.
how you doing?
I'm good. You're making your own trailer make you blush?
Yes, my own trailer is making me blush. I'm like, oh no, I have to talk now.
What a fantastic concept, by the way. I'm real excited to talk about it. But we're here to talk about your involvement in the Entertainment Showcase.
Yes, and
on Saturday.
I'll be talking more extensively about the concept and all the sex. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It's very proper. It's very proper.
Awesome. Well, now you're making me blush.
Am I? Good. That's the goal.
So Actually, I'm getting an echo here, so I'm going to mute you real quick, and then I'll unmute you because I think there you go. All right. So, talk about your journey into films, because you started as a playwright. You did plays first, and then you moved into feature films and filmmaking. And so, kind of talk a little bit about your journey into getting to Galaxy 360.
Yeah, it's actually a cool. So I started out like in New York theaters, and I started performing live, and I started doing like some stand-up comedy. I did, I did my own show. I did a play called Sex in Mommyville. I was always edgy, even for New York. Sex in Mommyville was, it was a play that at that time when I did it, and it had the word sex in it. And I had to constantly explain to people, oh, this is about how people don't have sex. It's not raunchy at all, And so it was really fun to kind of do that and talk about, and the issues in Sex in Mommyville begin to be like the foundation of the force that motivates me to make content, where I talk about injustices towards women in our society, and especially at that time, mothers, because I was a young mother. But I kind of turn it all on its head because I make it funny and I make it humorous, and I talk about how we never get to have sex and we want to have sex. And, then I take the whole sex thing to its ultimate level in Galaxy 360, where women have sex whenever they feel like it and do whatever they want because they have all the power. And so you see that a little bit in this trailer. But the way that I got started is, so I'm motivated to, so I'm making theater, and I love theater, and I love live theater. And then I get this, I'm doing this show. The next show I did after Sex and Mommyville was called My Stubborn Tongue, and nothing to do with sex. It was, although people would ask me all the time, like, what do you mean by that? I'm like, no, I'm an immigrant. It means I can't learn English. So, and people would be like, but your first show was Sex in Mommyville, but that show was really about the immigrant journey and coming to America. And I was making the show, and I got invited to perform it in London at the Soho Theatre on West End, and it was super exciting. And at the same time, I was working on just a little thing, like a little tiny thing, where I was like writing little funny, you know how it is. It's always like little funny things, and you're writing little sketches, and I was pulling together little sketches. And, one was called The Wolf Period. I was like, oh, what if men were on their wolf periods? And, and one was called How to Keep Your Man Young, or I can't remember. Oh yeah, War of the Dads. Cause I was, I was a mom, I was a young mom, and, women were always fighting about who was better, the stay-at-home mom or the working mom. And I was like, you know what, let me just reverse the gender and see how funny that would be. And it really became super funny. So I put together a whole bunch of these sketches, and then people were like, well, everybody around me was like, do a web series, everybody's doing a web series. Why don't you just do a web series? And so I basically called up a bunch of like video production houses, and I said, hi, and just completely green. People that say, how did you get started? I Googled video production company, called like first 2 or 3, called them up, and the guy goes, I have a Red, and I go, who's Red and how much will he cost? And he goes, Red is the camera girl, So while performing on stage, I started putting together this web series, and then ended up getting invited to London to both perform my show, My Stubborn Tongue. And by that point, I had the first episode completed, and got invited to London to perform at their feminist club, to screen Happy Hour Feminism. So I kind of did a double thing, and it was really awesome because I ended up getting written up by the London Evening Standard, and they talked about my Happy Hour Feminism, series. So I did both, and then after I did the web series, I fell in love with filmmaking. I mean, I just fell in love with everything about it, and just decided to take that next step and make the next short film, and dove right into a feature, which was after I did a web series, and then I did a short called Invisible Alice, and then said, I'm gonna take on a longer form, although it wasn't all quite so logical. Now in retrospect, it seems like I just dove into the deep end of the ocean.
I'm curious to get your take on, it's kind of disgusting that it's taken this long to recognize women in filmmaking, especially behind the camera, especially, and we still have a long way to go. But do you feel like there's a shift happening? And what do you think we can do to make it stronger and even better than it is now?
Yeah, well, it's such a great question. I love when an interviewer starts with the word disgusting, and I love how you finished that question. So yeah, I think it's definitely getting better. Like I've been obsessed with the show Yellow Jackets, and I think it breaks every feminine stereotype and makes women like these tough bitches that can do anything quietly, sweetly as mothers, and I just love it. I think the fact that Showtime is showing this show and the fact that people are fans of it is so great. And it shows you that like we're really missing we've been missing an audience. There are all these women who are dying to see women in these kinds of roles, in any role like that. And not just, I'm not just interested in seeing a female superhero, although I love the Black Widow. I love seeing that, but I also want to see the nitty gritty of the everyday women's lives and different takes on that. And I think men would be interested too. I mean, they got a lot to learn about us. We're complicated creatures.
I would agree.
They think they've got us figured out, but they really don't.
I would agree wholeheartedly.
And I do think it's changing. I do think it's moving in the right direction. But I also feel like there are so many ingrained stereotypes that when you as a woman walk onto a set, everybody, women and men, all of us come in with ingrained stereotypes. And that's the part that makes life so difficult for women, because I do things differently from a man and I am read differently from a man. If I am as tough and as mean as a man, and this holds true to this day, I won't even be listened to. I'll be seen as a crazy bitch. You know what I'm saying? If I yell, I've seen male directors, just do things on set that are, I would never even consider doing that, or raising their voices in ways. And then everybody loves them. Then they come down from that and then they're like all charming and everybody's like, oh, he was being tough on us. I stayed in like this, decibel. I don't think I ever raised it beyond. I was like, oh my God, keep calm, keep calm, keep calm, keep calm. And not because I was even conscious of that, but because, and I always say this, whether you're a mother or not, you're a nurturer as a woman, and you learn to be a nurturer as a woman. And this amazing nurturing instinct that allowed me to multitask while, writing a play, changing a diaper, getting a milk bottle together, remembering what everybody needs for dinner, remembering what mom needed, remembering what my ex-husband needed, remembering everything and everybody, that quality, that ability served me extremely well on a set. I knew I knew exactly what was going on at all times from different corners of, my head, because I prevented my little baby eons ago from picking up a sharp object while doing something else, like that ability. And women have this amazing ability, and very few people actually talk about that as a strength. They say, well, she's just the mom. No. That's an actual skill. So I always say, if people would let go of the stereotype and understand what different skill sets women bring to the table, if men kind of understood that, then we could be helped along. But I also think men have an amazing skill set that we need to learn from. And I have this, movement that I've been wanting to launch, Movement 360, where I want men and women to work together to help women rise up in the world, because I think we need to listen to each other. And I think that men really need to be part of the whole feminist conversation, the way you are asking me, what can we do to make it better? If more men were doing it, we'd be so much further along as a society, as an evolved race.
Awesome. Well, we'll look forward to having those conversations tomorrow too. I would imagine you'll get a chance to talk a little bit about that. One last question for you. What do you love about indie film? What is it that just brings you to your core, to your soul about indie film?
I think it's the creativity. I think it's the fact that there's no, I'm putting this together and we can all be creative, and there's freedom. There's incredible freedom because there isn't an overhead and we're not pleasing. I am the producer. I'm putting this together, and every indie filmmaker, it's my concept. That stuff I don't know who would allow me to do that except for me. So I love that about indie film, and I support indie film, and I've seen indie films that really break boundaries and do amazing stuff. And,
Awesome.
Thank you for your awesome questions, Joe.
Sure, no problem on it. And we'll look forward to to hearing more from you tomorrow at the Indie Entertainment Showcase, which will be live. The link is in the description, everybody. So I know you'll hear me say that throughout these conversations. But thank you so much for being here, Anna, and good luck the rest of the way. And we'll look forward. Maybe we can sit down and have a deeper conversation about all your movies and what you're doing out there sometime.
Yeah, that would be great. And I want people to follow Galaxy 360, a woman's playground. And you guys can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and www.galaxy360.com. So thank you, Joe, for this.
Thank you, Anna.
Tomorrow.
All right. Take care. Bye.
Take care.
All right. Ooh, let me do this. All right. And we're on to our next guest. And he's an actor and moving into directing. And I'm excited to talk to him about that. And his name is Angelo Reyes. And here is his acting reel. And then we'll be back to talk to him right after that.
How's it looking?
It's ready.
This is the upgraded compliance?
Yes, sir. Of course, you won't be going outside the safe zone barrier anytime soon, correct?
Who would hell want to leave? You know what's at stake.
Yeah, I know.
Good. Because I wouldn't want you to do anything foolish. Hey, why aren't the patients being processed?
I was busy with the patient.
Get unbusy and go and process the patients. Go! Ano to? Huh? What's this?
Hindi, naisip ko lang kasi baka...
Hindi ko kailangan ng tulong. I am not crazy.
I'm not saying that you are. It's just that nung umalis ka sa Marines, parang...
Stop! Stop! Drop it, Vanessa.
What's the matter?
I don't know. I just, I could have sworn somebody was here. It's just during your performance.
Mike, I'm the only one up here.
I know. I just...
That's awesome. Welcome, sir. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me today. And I know you're going to have a great time doing this event tomorrow. But I want to concentrate on you a little bit here and talk a little bit about, because now you've transitioned from actor to filmmaker, and you're still acting. Was a lot of that to take control? I mean, oftentimes we see actors do that transition to kind of take control of the their careers and get the roles that they kind of crave and do the things that they want to do. Was that kind of the idea behind your path to becoming an actual filmmaker?
Yeah, well, kind of. Yeah, it was part of that process. The other process was that being able to create some projects that more so relate to your background, to your culture, things like that. So I was able to put some things that are relative to how I grew up, right? At the same time, it also shows the range as an actor. But what's interesting enough is that going behind the camera made me a much better actor, and then vice versa. Being a director, better actor being a director. So it was a nice fulfilling journey, and I learned a lot from the ground up doing all that stuff. So I enjoy doing it. It's something like, I know everybody says that once you start doing it, you don't go back. But it opened up a whole different door for me, and I never stopped since then. So.
That's awesome. You mentioned just now, and I noticed in your bio, you talking about how important it is to represent diversity in film and give a wider range of diverse subject matter, people to, characters and stories and that. I'm kind of curious from you, where do you think right now we are? Are we succeeding in any capacity? And where do you think that we need to vastly improve?
Yeah, that's a really good question, Joe. I think that we're on the right track. You know what I mean? You're starting to see a lot of different diverse characters now, even in lead characters, and not just being a support or the person or in the background. So I've seen a lot of that stuff that's happening. So it's been pretty good. I think that there's a lot more improvement in there that we can do, because when you're talking about diverse, there's so many people in the world, and so many, like for myself is so I'm Filipino and Italian, so I grew up in Italy, so that kind of like messes with your brain, you know what I mean? So
right.
Italian, Spanish, and it's Tagalog, so it's like there's a lot more to show there. So even with the Filipino culture, there's a lot to be told, because you can't bolt them up in one little group of Asians, because that's like saying you're European. Well, what kind of European are you? You're Spanish or Italian or French. Same thing with the Asians. They're all in a whole different types of the world. So yeah, I think that it's a lot of improvement in different parts. Even you're starting to see it now with a lot of major films, especially with Marvel and all that stuff. So I mean, it's great to be in filmmaking now, just because it's the more diverse, the better, the greater their stories. You know what I mean? Because it's stuff that you don't normally hear or see about. So that's what I'm on the journey for. It's great.
Awesome. I find it fascinating too, because you've worked on a lot of productions. You've worked on big productions, smaller scale productions, indie productions, and you chose a smart route into getting into filmmaking by doing short films and kind of that avenue. Do you think that is the process for young filmmakers? Do you think that's the avenue that they should pursue, because it gives you the opportunity to play a little bit and kind of expand and see what you can do in this medium?
Yeah, I mean, Joe, you pretty much hit it around the nail. And my background, when I went to college for designing, creative designing and productions. I didn't get to acting until after in my early 20s. But being from that background in creative designing, we always start on a foundation, right? We learn from the ground up, and I take that same exact concept for filmmaking. So instead of jumping straight to doing a feature film, because you hear these stories where, you know, they'll make feature films for $20,000, $30,000. That's great, and I don't knock anybody doing that. But for mine, I've always been taught in schools to put your best work first, right? So with short films, I'm able to, on a smaller budget, be able to make it more impactful, right? And then again, I'm not short films are I think they're much harder to tell a story because such a short period of time, you can't do any character development, things like that. But it kind of fine tunes a lot of your skill, a lot of your editing skills, a lot of your acting skills for one, because you only got a certain amount of time to show a character and actually tell a story at the end, right? So short films, yes, I think that is a formula for myself, and I think that everybody should take that route because it's usually inexpensive, right? You'll find a lot of colleagues that want to work with you for a weekend or two and knock out a 15-minute short that can probably expand your portfolio, and that's the I think that it's the best way, and then you improve a lot quicker, and then you can probably do a lot more shorts than you can do a feature film in 1 year. Like for myself, I did 2 or 3 of them. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
I start to tune and fine tune what's best for the next one. Right? I learned something new, what not to do, what to do, things like that. But yeah, absolutely, I think short films is your foundation process of learning. If especially if you haven't gone to film school, this is probably more inexpensive way of doing it.
Nice. Awesome. So what do you love about indie film? I mean, I know you've come at it at all angles. So what is it about it that captures your heart about it and core?
Well, indie film is just like what it stands for, independent, right? So you're able to make the decisions and the creativity that you think that you want, the art, right? But at the same time, too, with the whole indie, you always got to be aware, and this is what I've learned as well, is that what the audience would like, right? Because with your whole major films, they make films based on what the audience is going to like, right? Independent film is making a film what speaks to you inside. So there's a major difference, and I think right now I'm able to get out as much as I can with using these short films of what I love, what the story's about, telling the right message, things like that. And then when I'm ready to do, to jump into that feature film, then okay, now I'm ready to do something really big, right? That's mainstream. Mm-hmm. So now I got all my stuff, all my art out of the way. So but yeah, that's indie film, in a nutshell is that creativity, the independent, to be able to create something without any worries, and knowing that just like a regular artist, when you're painting or something, you put your art up, and then people, let them to look at it, make their assumptions, what they feel, how it makes them feel, what that makes them think. It's very thought provoking. So that's what independent films means to me.
Awesome. Well, tell everybody where they can see what you're doing out there, and give everybody your links and let everybody know where they can find you.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's real simple. A lot of my stuff that I put it all in one place is my website, which is angeloreyes.com. Real simple. Same deal with my Instagram handle is angeloreyes_com. So it's angeloreyes.com. So all that stuff I put most of my projects, everything that I'm coming up as far as acting, producing, even writing stuff that I put on there is all on my main website with angeloreyes.com. So please check it out, see what you guys think. Give me opinions. I always take criticism, so it makes me better.
Awesome. Well, you can also catch Angelo tomorrow in the Indie Entertainment Showcase live, and we have the link there. And Angelo, thank you for taking the time to talk to me, man. It's nice to talk to you, and hopefully down the road we can talk more about when you do your big production. We'll have you on and we'll break it down.
Yes, thank you so much, Joe. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me on here.
Have a great day.
All right, buddy.
All right, we're moving on to our next guest, and she is an actor of a long period, but a good period, and she's moving into filmmaking. And here's her reel, and then we'll talk to Miss Wendy Morgan.
What are you going to wear?
Don't know.
Take those boxes away. This diet is going to kill you.
Nancy.
Mrs. Stanhope?
Mrs. Stanhope. She wanted to see me, so she's making a collection for St. Boniface's Church, the Restoration Fund. So I said, of course, she could come in. Let her in.
You? You let a stranger in the house, you?
Mrs. Stanhope's not a stranger. Laurie.
20 pounds! I smashed up the house, you're having a twist, you like your mother!
How dare you talk about my mother!
I haven't finished with that!
Finished with that? Well, I'm finished with you! Get out of my house! You ruined it! You ruined it, my whole life!
Have you ever met a lover so intoxicating that whenever you're apart, you miss them? Every minute of the day, every moment of the night. Love blooms. Therefore the moon, the governess of floods, pale in her anger, washes all the air, that rheumatic diseases do abound. And thorough this distemperature we see the seasons alter. Hoary-headed frosts fall in the fresh lap of the crimson rose, and on old Hyam's thin and icy crown, an odorous chaplet of sweet summer buds is as in mockery set. So you're Greg. This is your script.
It is.
Just like Sam, some of those boys won't come back.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Indie Showcase continuing. Hi, there she is. Hi, Wendy.
Hi, Joe. Can you hear me okay?
I can, yes, and see
Brilliant.
you good.
So lovely to see you. Thanks for having me.
You too. You too. That was quite the expansive reel. You've been a working actor and done some really big and interesting things in this business. What do you feel like has been the most rewarding aspect of a career like this for you?
Meeting all of those extraordinary actors and creatives and going to extraordinary places. Yeah, and being all different kinds of people, or trying to be. But yeah, working with all those fantastic people.
You're at a point now where you're now moving into filmmaking, and you have a film that you're putting out there called Mercy. And why now did you feel like was the right time for you to make the jump into directing and filmmaking?
Well, it was never a thing that I thought I should do, because I feel like I'm an actor, and that's what I am, not just, but an actor. But I was so moved by this project, what led me to doing this project, that I couldn't find anyone else to make it for me or write it for me. I kept asking, can you write a story about this, or can you do it? Can you direct it? And then at the time, like 11 years ago, when I began that project, it wasn't as prominent as it is now, as far as I was aware, and so I couldn't really find anyone, and so I ended up having to do it myself. So I apologized to the animals, who could have had a better director than me and a better writer than me and all of the things. I'm an actor, really. So, but hey, and then I did that. So
it speaks to, you said 11 years, it speaks to the nature of the business that we're in. It really does, in that respect. Right. I mean, gosh, it's perseverance, right? It's taking on something and seeing it to the end.
Yeah, it still hasn't stopped, because it's now distribution and stuff like that. Things that I've been on the other side of the camera for, where I haven't had to be responsible, so I could just turn up. But just not stopping. And sometimes, like when an edit was lost, or because I edited it as well, and because I changed the computer or whatever it was, and you just think, oh my gosh, how can I carry on, and who do I think I am trying to do this? And, all of the voices, but just because the subject matter was so dear to my heart, that's what gave me the audacity to do something that really I had no right to do, I would say. You know, so I've been on a lot of film sets, but that's a different thing. It's all very well, you know.
Sure.
So I know the environment, but there's a lot I don't know.
What do you think directing gave you that is going to help you as an actor? Did something surprise you that you now will take with you as an actor?
Yeah, well, I guess the directing and producing was that I had to make tough calls, which I hate doing. I'm not confrontational as a human, but I find it hard to make a tough call for someone or for a project, you know, that it was landing on me and might upset somebody else. So that, I don't know if that will help me going forward as an actor, but it's certainly given me, I've always had respect for every person on a film set or any work, you know, anywhere, whoever and whatever they're doing. It's a team, but even more so now, even more so, because it's just mammoth. So that's not really answered your question.
No, I think it did.
I guess a bit more, what's the polite way of saying it? A bit more, you know, a bit more courage, I guess.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
A little bit.
So you've done big productions, you've done small productions. What is it about indie film that you love? What at the core is it about indie film for you?
Well, I guess that money's always the thing, isn't it? But that passion projects for people, that they want to make a story about this, where maybe in commercial terms it might not get made, or that certain actors can play certain things that maybe in the commercial world they might not be able or given that opportunity to play. So if we're all making the film ourselves, hey, I can play that and you can do that. You know, it's a bit more, we get a bit more choice in the matter, which that was an amazing feeling. I wish I'd had the budget to be able to do the same job, you know, but to be able to say to actors, you know, what would you like to play? And then I'd be able to write them something. So it was amazing to be able to have a little bit of that, or, you know, a bit more freedom.
Did you catch the bug, or are you done with this and just going back to acting?
Well, I think I'd started on something else. I'd written something else during lockdown. Yeah, right. And then I was like, is it going to be a series? And again, I was trying to get somebody else to write it and somebody else. So that then, just towards the end of lockdown, there was a surge in Mercy again. I thought kind of, you know, it was going to be rolling out in its own little way and I didn't have to do anything. And then I met up with a wonderful PR company of Kultura with Gotham and Nicole, and they just took it onto a different level. And so we got a distributor in America, which is amazing. So in North America. And, you know, coming out to America and this and Sundance and all of the wonderful things that they've been steering me towards. And I realized the job isn't quite yet done. So it's because it's just kind of me, really, to try and get something else on this at the same time is harder. And my brain and all my emotions have gone back to Mercy again. And I thought, you know, I'll carry on with the new project, you know, which is called Swim, by the way. It's called Swim. Yeah, it's about cold water swimming.
Awesome. Well, we'll look forward to that. And where can people learn more about Mercy and what's to come? And yourself, where can people find you at if they wanted to?
You can Google me, IMDb me. I've got Facebook and I Instagram and Twitter if you want to follow me over there. And mercyfilm.info is the website where, and that's also has its own pages as well on Mercy Film, Mercy Movie. I guess you might have to fiddle around because sometimes it's called Mercy Film, sometimes Mercy Movie. Instagram, I'm Wendy Morgan Actor. Facebook, I'm just Wendy Morgan. Twitter, Wendy Morgan.
Awesome. Well, you'll be able to hear more about what Wendy's doing and her thoughts on acting, hopefully, tomorrow at the Indie Entertainment Showcase. And I'm sure, knowing Nicole, that we'll be talking again when Mercy does get the distribution out there, and we'll break it down even further when we have a little bit more time. I really appreciate you taking the time to be here right now, though, Wendy. And
thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. It's great to listen to everyone and see everyone. Thanks, Joe.
All right, Wendy, have a wonderful rest of your day or
and
evening.
Yeah, have a lovely day.
All right, bye.
Bye.
All right, so that's Wendy Morgan, and we've got one more guest for you on the to talk about tomorrow and what they're doing, which is a really exciting aspect, and that's Mr. Ali Asku. And here's a little thing for him, and then we'll talk to Ali and give you more information about what's going on tomorrow. So here is a little taste of what Ali's doing, and then we'll talk to him about that.
Hey guys, we're at AFM, at Production Without Borders. And today we talked about filmcapital.io, which is a new platform in the film industry that allows an opportunity for core producers around the world to invest with the top movie executives in LA. And also investors, obviously, with the idea of creating a production environment with no borders, basically. And on filmcapital.io, if you go on the website, you can see that once you sign up and you get verified as an investor or co-producer, you're able to invest with great names in the industry and achieve a good amount of success and return on investment. And hopefully, we're launching in 2020 January, and we're happy to see anyone on the platform. Please go on www.filmcapital.io, book a meeting, ask a question, contact us. Happy to answer.
Make a movie.
Make a movie.
Thank you.
All right. Hopefully Ali's with us. There he is. There he is. Hello, sir.
Hey, guys. Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you? Oh,
thank you. Is my audio okay?
You're a little echoey, but yeah, I can hear you for sure.
Okay.
Welcome.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for having me.
This is a really great. Having the live issues here, everybody. You're a little lagging, sir.
Still?
Yeah, you're frozen now. What?
Better?
Yeah, there you go. That works, I think. Can you hear me? Oh.
Is it better?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you as well.
All right, good. All right.
Yeah.
So
okay, perfect.
This is an interesting adventure you're going about with the Film Capital and everything you're doing there. Financing is one of those mysteries that's not really a mystery, but it's one of those things that people kind of either get afraid of or kind of mystifies them in some respects. And I'm curious from your perspective, where do you think that most creative folks get it wrong when it comes to financing?
That's a great question. I think if we're talking about independent filmmakers that are trying to make it happen and put something in the can, I think the most important thing that people fail to understand is the business side of this, and really the how the industry dynamics work, and how the distribution deals work. Because a lot of people think in order to make $1 million movie, you need $1 million, right? That's definitely not the case. In our structure and many structures that really work in Hollywood in a scaled way, you only need about maximum 50% of your equity in order to make your film, in order to start your pre-production and actually complete the movie as well. All you have to do is really study and understand how it's done. And we created an entire academy just for this, just to explain how these work. We have Harris Tulchin, one of the best entertainment attorneys in town, talking about the financing structures. We have Phil Goldfein, explaining how the studio system works in those master classes, and they're all free. So I think if someone has a question and wants to understand how to finance their movie, they can definitely go and check our master classes on these for a detailed explanation. I think at the end it comes to actual consistency and resilience, right? Are you passionate about your movie, or can you wait? You can't wait to tell your story. I think that's the name of the game at the end of the day, because a lot of people just drag and lag and lose time looking for investors in the film festivals. I mean, it's really rare that happens when a lot of salespeople are just trying to sell and basically run their businesses in the festivals. All these independent filmmakers running around and pitching stories, or on LinkedIn, hey, can you invest in my movie? I think that's not the way to do it. So that's why we started the crowdfunding platform for private investors first, and now we registered it with SEC so that people can collect investment from anybody, not just accredited investors. So everybody in the United States, accredited or non-accredited, now can invest in films that we list on the platform, and I think that opens up a lot of doors if you do it right.
Awesome. The pandemic has changed the industry, and I'm curious from your perspective, do you think the focus for a young independent filmmaker should be going the digital route and expanding themselves as vast as possible on social media and through the networking of creating video on demand platforms and such, because theaters are slowly coming back into vogue, and film festivals are slowly getting back or getting onto the virtual track. They're even going virtual for the most part. So I was kind of curious on your perspective about how that focus has changed for you. Are you looking at digital as the next thing that really needs to be explored?
Sure, yeah, of course. I think the core studio system that didn't change during the pandemic. I think that system is still going on. It just expanded and got a lot faster. Now, the system is a lot more streamlined than ever. During the pandemic, we had about 420 plus new streaming platforms all around the world coming and start, operating. That's a huge number of streaming platforms, which boosts the demand. So now any content is pretty much valuable as long as it's finished and it's in the right format. So obviously, I think the industry completely changed. I always give the example in a way that the startup boom in Silicon Valley back in the early 2000s, not because the startup industry boomed so much, the VCs just flocked, and the entire ecosystem started evolving. Now I think the same thing is happening in Hollywood, because with the streaming platforms and digital access, now you don't need the big guys to give you the chance to sell your movie, or you don't need a lot of money to make a movie that sells.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of funny because, I can remember when I started about 20 years ago, the vast argument was, are we going to be doing digital filmmaking versus actual film, 16 millimeter, 32 millimeter, and 35 millimeter, and now that's like not even a thought with the Red and all these advances in technology, it's almost like studios are even okay with that in some respects. I know that a lot of them still shoot on actual film, but it's like now distribution is kind of won over the idea of what the next thing about the next great argument in Hollywood is. To me, that's kind of funny and ironic.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, right now, I think there's a new streaming platforms. I don't want to tell the name. I don't know if it's disclosed yet, but they're shooting movies. They're only buying movies shot on iPhone or any phone.
That's crazy.
I think it's beautiful because now you have a lot of filmmakers that have a chance. You can shoot something on your iPhone and you can sell it. Back in only 3 years ago, that would be crazy.
Yeah. Do you think for a young filmmaker, do you think exploring the distribution side of things, should they be concentrating on making features, or do you think short films is still the best way to learn their craft?
That's a great question. I hope shorts become relevant and they become available for sales, because I think there's a great amount of potential in the shorts industry, especially with the declining attention economy in terms of content. You really have to make more streamlined productions. So I think shorts are a great opportunity. I think Quibi kind of gave people a bit of a fear about shorts, but I think there's still a lot of potential if it's executed right. In terms of learning the craft, yes, if you can put together a budget and create a proof of concept, if you've never shot a feature, that's definitely helpful. It also helps you get your hands dirty. We actually we do help out independent filmmakers that want to want to shoot proof of concept shorts. We've done one project like that in Turkey last year, 2021. We shot a movie. Yeah, I mean, we shot. We had this independent producer. She came, actually, director. She approached us in I don't know if it was a Clubhouse talk, and she said, "Hey, can you help my project, come true?" And it was about femicide rates in Turkey. Since we really want to help out impact-making independent filmmakers, we couldn't turn it down, and we said, "Okay, let's make it." And it turned out amazing. A lot of people showed up actually for a short premiere. And the most important thing is the filmmaker started feeling like a filmmaker and actually started believing in herself. And actually, that's, I think, the most important part of shooting a short. I don't know if you can sell it or you can pitch it and it's going to be successful, but I know for a fact that you'll feel a lot more confident about going into your next project.
Awesome. So what is it about indie film that has you gravitated towards? What is it at its core that you love?
I like stories that are rare. I think that's the part about independent filmmakers, right? Stories that are hidden somewhere and need to really come out, because the studios won't do it for you. They won't make you. They'll only make superhero movies, right? And a lot of production companies will make movies with certain celebrities involved to get pre-sales, and they won't necessarily. They'll pay attention to the story, but they'll rather have it more. They'd rather have it more, mainstream. This is, again, majority. Again, there's a few people obviously out there that are trying to go for Oscars and stuff like that. So they look for really diverse stories. But I think, with no intention to go for an award or play big, I think independent filmmakers play a crucial role in telling those stories. And when they do it right, you can't hide a brilliant work of art. I think Call Me by Your Name was a great example of that. It was a very little indie movie, and it ended up being one of the biggest hits.
Nice. So where can everybody learn more about what you're doing and how you're doing it? Can you tell everybody where they can find you and seek out your help?
Sure. I'm available on, LinkedIn and Instagram is Instagram. Obviously, we have a website, but you can use the contact us button for now because we're going through a major rebranding. Can't disclose a lot, but it's going to be a completely different experience with a different name even. So now, if you want to submit a project for us to look at, I'd rather drop my email here.
Okay, cool, awesome.
It's actually Ali at filmcapital.io. I'll just put it down.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'll put that in the description for everybody to go check it out, and you can see Ollie talk a little bit more on Saturday at the Indie Entertainment Showcase. And thank you, my friend, for joining us, and good luck in the future. We look forward to talking more about your projects.
Thanks for having me.
All right, there you go, everybody. Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. The link is already there in the video's description. Wherever you're watching this, whether it be Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch, you'll be able to take a look at this. This is a free event. You can just go to the event page. It's the Eventbrite page, and click on it and join them. And you'll hear all the people that we've featured here talk more about the industry and the interesting things that are going on. And we're very thankful to Kultura PR and Cloud 21 for letting us host this little preview, and just go check everything out and support indie film like we love to do. And just remember that it's always time to go indie now, and we'll talk to you soon. Everybody have a great rest of your day. In fact, if you're watching this live, we'll be live tonight with Joe's Bar. More about that later on, but that's not what this was about. But I'll plug my own stuff while I can. So if you're watching this after the fact, if it's today on Friday, January 21st, Joe's Bar is at 10 p.m. Eastern. And if not, you can go back and watch it. It'll be up on our site, as will this, until, for tomorrow. And hopefully down the road, if you missed the opportunity to see this entertainment showcase, they have their YouTube channel, which I will also put in the description, so you can go check that out later on once it gets posted, if it does later on down the road. Anyway, that being said, enjoy, and it's always time to go indie now. Bye, everybody.